How's it going, YouTube? Today I'm going to make a little video about this 2009 Pontiac Montana SV6, and I've got a fix for the rear climate control in this vehicle. It wasn't working properly. It wasn't blowing cold air when you wanted it to, wasn't blowing warm air when you wanted it to, and it wasn't blowing air at the rear passenger's feet when you wanted it to, and it wasn't blowing air at out of the roof vents for the rear passengers when you wanted it to. I think that this video will also apply to the Buick Terraza, the Saturn Relay, and the Chevy Uplander. I think they started making these vans in 2005, and I believe the dedicated rear climate control was only found in the extended wheelbase version of these vans, which this one is. So the fix, it was a free fix. It just took time. So I'm sure that other people at home have got an issue with this rear climate control. What you're going to want to do is, to get access to this unit here, you're going to want to pop off the plastic trim at the bottom first. You're going to want to pop off, there's a plastic trim piece up here, and over there where the light is shining, you're going to just slightly pop that one off, and that'll allow you to get this, you can see it here, this large plastic piece off, which kind of covers this whole dedicated HVAC unit back here. This is your blower motor right here. I've just got the seatbelt tucked in beside it, but that's your blower motor. This right here is your AC unit, dedicated just for the rear. Here's your heat exchanger. Got your warm coolant coming all the way to the back of the van and going through this unit. Your vent work, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just kind of familiarizing you guys with what's going on back here. But the free fix, it was an easy fix. It just turned out to be this little electric drive motor here, and another electric drive motor, if I'm reaching, just right here. I'll start by explaining how this one works by going and just showing the van's temperature controls, so that we're all on the same page. So going to the front of the vehicle, keeping those little electric motors in mind in the back. So if you've got, the driver has the temperature selector on warm air, those little drive units in the back, one of them, and I'll show you which one does which, it will control the warm air, and if you change it, it should be blowing cool air. Now, in terms of the venting for the floor or the roof vents for the passengers, the driver really only has control of that. So if you've got this selection on floor, it's going to be coming out the floor vent in the back. If you change it to like the vent, it's going to come out the roof vents for the rear passenger. Okay, now we've got that said, going to the rear, you can see up here this button, my finger is touching, maybe it's not coming out so clear. It's got a fan and a little temperature symbol on it. That is for the rear passenger. They press that and they can select fan speed, and all through these buttons and navigating with the arrows, and the information for fan speed and temperature comes up on this LCD display, and then that's what the rear passenger can control. So now that we understand how everything works, going back to the back here, this unit here is the one that controls warm air or cool air. And what I did to fix this one It was a really easy fix. You just pop this connector off here, and in my case, it was the female pins on this electrical connector. They were not crimped properly, so they weren't making a connection with the male pins that were in this drive unit. So all I did was I crimped the pins together a little bit, and they made a good connection, and all of a sudden this whole motor started working perfectly all the time, which before I think it was maybe intermittent. Now I'll move around to this other one so you guys get a better look. Now this little drive unit here, it was a much bigger problem actually. So I popped out the screws, just one here and one here, pulled the motor out, undo the electrical connection, and there's little tabs, plastic tabs, all the way around on this thing. You have to kind of pry them, get up under them with a screwdriver, and be very careful when you're taking this cover off. There's plastic gears inside along with a little electric motor, and you just don't want the plastic gears to fall all over the place, and you might have a hard time figuring out how to get it back together. But in this case, there was a gap between the electrical connection. There's like the pins that I was mentioning, and the motor itself. I'm going to say like an 1/8 of an inch gap. So the motor inside here was not actually connected to anything. Now to get the electrical connection made, I just kind of bent the it's like a spring, kind of like on a spring system. I just kind of bent the tabs a little bit further out, and then they were able to make contact with the electric motor in here. And then I just ensured that, okay, I was making a good connection, put the cover back on, plugged the power back in, and then all of a sudden the motor worked properly. And so this one is controlling a damper inside, and it is controlling whether or not, take my light here, the air is going to come out the floor vent, or if it's going to come out the roof vent. And so after doing those two things, I would even check, like if your other motor's not working, maybe check, maybe you want to pop the cover off the other motor that I showed you, make sure it's making a good electrical connection inside as well. For me, it was, both didn't work. This one here had a little bit more problems than the other one. This took 5 minutes to fix, whereas the other one took a minute to fix. But it's a really quick fix once you get the all these plastic trim pieces off inside. Getting the plastic off, it takes a while, but just take your time, and I'm sure you guys will be able to fix your minivan too. And now the warm air or cool air selection, it works great for the back, and the floor vent or roof vent, it works perfectly as well, and it didn't cost me a dime to fix it. I suppose it's possible, in some cases the little gears inside could be stripped, or the motor could be burnt out, in which case I guess you just have to replace the whole unit. So yeah, that's my video. I hope it helped you guys out, and be sure to check out my other YouTube videos that I'm going to post. I'm going to I'll go back around here and show you. I'm going to do another video on flushing out this heater core, and hopefully you get some good tips from me on that one, how to keep these vans going longer, and giving you guys good heat in the back, especially on those cold winters. I'm also going to do one more video on if you guys are getting a wet carpet back here, because I had a big problem with water in the back of this thing, but I've also got that problem fixed as well. So I'll give you guys one more shot of this whole dedicated unit back here for air conditioning and heating. And yeah, I'll leave you guys with that, and hopefully this video helps out some other people at home, and it'll help you get through another cold winter. All right, thanks a lot.